Uh-uh. Nope. Somebody made a mistake. Somebody made a mistake. Somebody made a mistake.
Oh, man.
And they gave us the keys to the kingdom.
I feel official.
Do you feel official?
Yeah, I feel hella official.
Oh my God. I mean,
also, I feel in over my head with this technology.
Yeah. This is terrifying. And I see the number, the counter number is going up of people who are watching.
I don't even know what that is. Now I see it. Hi, guys.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Hey, what's up from Minneapolis? Indianapolis. I can't read. It's okay. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Chaos Twins. Skunk. We have a thing here. See, now you know what the show is called.
Yeah.
It's called the Chaos Twins. Yeah. Can I lean out too? I think I gotta lean out too. Yeah. It's like there it is, and then you take the Chaos Twins, dude. Oh my God. So what's up, Nicole? Oh my God. Tim Alex is here. Tim, we were just playing Tears of a Clown.
I'm playing it. He said Nick said I can play it, but I think this is the theme song.
No, this is not the. Nope. That's not the theme song. No, that's not the theme song. Oh my God. Well, Sasha is hijacking the pod. Nope. Turn that off. Sasha.
Fine.
If anything, the theme song should be this. Yep. First person who can name what this is gets a prize. Who can name what this is? Here's a hint.
He's your friend. You know him, you love him.
Here's another hint.
Oh!
Here's a third hint. We got it? Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest show ever created, of course, The West Wing. The West Wing.
You know exactly what you entered into, Aaron Albano.
Yeah, you guys know it. You know exactly. This is terrible. But so the first thing you got to know about me and Sasha, we're both Broadway actors. We met doing Motown the Musical, and we also bonded over our love of The West Wing. In fact, for Halloween, almost 2 years ago, we dressed up as our favorite characters from The West Wing.
Honestly, it's everything in me not to wear that wig today.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Don't ever wear the wig. I do.
I'll go get it.
Don't do it. I mean, I brought my mask.
Don't dare me.
I brought the mask, but that's not from The West Wing. That's from another IP. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chaos Twins. So I'm Nick Walker.
I'm Sasha Hutchings.
Terrible. But so what's the deal? Why are we here? Why did Broadway World make this terrible mistake? Wait, whose hubby was the cinematographer? Patricia, that's amazing.
What?
Incredible. Yeah, we love The West Wing on here.
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Patricia, yeah, that's so cool.
I'm really upset right now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions, about the opening to season 2.
Yeah. We got to discuss everything. But so why are we here? So, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a thing happening called quarantine right now.
Still happening. It's
still happening. We're still in quarantine. The city, we're in New York City, but it's opening up, but we are in a little bit of quarantine. Still. Yeah. Tim, Alex, yes, this is absolutely your therapy session. But since quarantine began, we've been doing these lives on Instagram, where we were it started as just a way to just discuss current events and stuff like that. As things kicked off and got a little more, even more serious than they already were, with the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. and all the protests, me and Sasha really kind of took the show and turned it into a forum for really a lot of stuff, I would say, that has to do with our view of the world as artists, as Black artists in this community, and just putting our feelings out there and providing a safe space for us to discuss and grow and learn. We also happen to be incredibly silly people. So like that's, Sasha, are you trying to imply that you're not a silly person? Sasha, you're probably the silliest. Are you saying you're a little bit? You're saying you're a little bit of a silly person. So for those of you who are just listening right now, Sasha is not saying anything. She's making.
Listening.
Well, Tim Alex said he was not watching, but he was listening. So I'm just trying to respect what I'm seeing here.
Okay.
Sasha's apparently appearing lost right now, but you know, listen. But we wanted to. We wanted to provide a space for all these thoughts and emotions, because the fact of the matter is, no matter your political bent, no matter where you stand in the midst of these things, we're going through a traumatic time.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on right now. Yeah. And I think that we, especially as Josh, I see you. I know it's it's hard to stay positive, brother. I know that we as show people sometimes like to, the show must go on and have this mask up. But really what it's about is being real with each other. I think that is invaluable. Yeah.
This is like our brand of coping with the world. We'll talk about some things, some technical terms we have for our coping. But I think that Nick and I like to mix the crazy with the crazy, the serious crazy with the fun crazy. And that's what we try to create a space to do on here. Yeah. It's working for us.
We're having a blast. We're having a good time.
We started on IG Live, and now we've got fancy tools and such.
Yeah, and thank you to Broadway World, who for some reason really trusted us. They literally gave us the keys to the StreamYard, and they were like, exactly, like things like that. Yep, I don't like that. That's terrifying. They literally just said, yeah, go for it. Do the show, and we're like, are you? Do you know us? But the other thing I want to say before we really get started into things, this show is interactive. So like if you're watching this on Facebook, if you're not watching this on Facebook right now, if you want to go over to Facebook and watch it on the Broadway World Facebook page, there's a chance for you to put in comments. We will respond to your comments. So like, let's make this a conversation. Let's keep this.
We will hella respond to your comments.
We will hella respond. And that's just part of who we are. We want to thank, but we definitely want to thank Broadway World. We want to thank all of our sponsors, all the people who have gotten us this far. We don't really have sponsors. We have people who've gotten us this far. Again, I just want to go through and shout out Josh Lyman. It's one of those people. President Josiah Bartlett, and of course,
Josiah Bartlett, really. Of course,
really. Tony Winner and my big brother, James Monroe Eigelhart. Is probably the biggest supporter of this show.
You can see him in his Tony Award-winning role.
His Tony Award-winning role as Will Smith. I'm playing this way. No. So we have a good show for you today. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We have an amazing guest for this first show. I am actually shocked that she is here because she is so amazing. But first, we have a couple segments that we're going to make segments.
Yeah, throw up the graphics. Throw up the graphics, Nick.
Okay, hold on. Hang on.
Nick is also running props.
Yeah.
I'm running tech. It looks like this. Nick, we can't see it. Nick, is that hot pink highlighter?
It is. That's how we do the show. It's hot pink highlighter. This is our show.
We want to talk about securing the perimeter.
Yeah, the first thing we talk about in this show is securing the perimeter. That's one of our main concerns here. Now, Sasha, what is securing the perimeter?
Securing the perimeter is when the perimeter may or may not be secure.
Whose perimeter?
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Any perimeter that you find yourself in. Yeah.
Now, as a black person in the world, is your perimeter ever really secure?
Rarely, if ever.
Let's be real about that. Let's be real about that. But yeah, we want to talk about ways to secure the perimeter.
Like,
and so securing the perimeter.
Issa wrote a whole show about unsecure perimeter.
Non-secure.
It's called
it's called non-secure. So what securing the perimeter really comes down to is those stuff like exactly. There it is. We really shouldn't have this much control, guys. But securing the perimeter really comes down to the idea that, when the world is crazy, how do you put up those boundaries? How do you make sure that your space is protected? How do you protect your mental space, your heart space, your physical space? I'll start. So one of the ways when I didn't feel secure this week and this morning is all the reports that I'm seeing of these young Black men being or found hanging from trees, which are being written off as suicides, but police are not releasing the CCTV footage. So, and it's happening in Houston. It's happening in California. It just happened in Fort Tryon Park in Brooklyn. So, this is something that yet another brutalization of Black bodies that we now have to grapple with. And we don't have any information on. So how, as a Black person, do you navigate yourself in a world that seems hell-bent on killing you? And securing your perimeter in that sense is tough. That's a tough thing to secure right now. And by the way, if please look up articles on that's happening. It's a current thing that is happening. But I think that one of the ways that I secured my perimeter today was to shut off my phone. To just shut off my phone. There is so much information that comes at us so fast, and we have a responsibility to ourselves to just say no when we need a breath, because it will never stop. The onslaught will never stop of information that is abrasive to our well-being. So that was how I did mine today. That's how I secured my perimeter. Sasha, how did you secure your perimeter today?
Let's see. Well, this wasn't today, but I'm still a little upset about it. Now, my secured perimeter, I'm going to take it in another direction.
Please.
I was on my computer on the floor of my apartment, just chilling, living my life, and I looked to my left, and there was a roly-poly. And I don't know how that roly-poly got in my apartment. Also, I'm from Georgia, so just the squirrels and the roly-polies and the book, they look different. They're prettier there. New York bugs and stuff, this roly-poly was pale gray and kind of flat. And he looked like he had a hard time, through generations of mutations of living in New York City. And I used to play with roly-polies as a little kid, but I saw this one, and I don't know where he came from, but I will tell you that I had to sort of stuff some things underneath my AC, and really, really check around the perimeter of my apartment to make sure nobody was getting in.
Now, Sasha, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never heard the term roly-poly before.
You've never heard roly-poly?
No.
You gotta look it up. I'm gonna throw it up. Roly-poly. Google it. I'm
not gonna Google roly-poly. Nope. I'm not gonna Google that.
You gotta roly-poly.
No.
Really?
But that's true. I mean, your home is your bastion. That's your safe place, right? So when you got things showing up.
It was a minor infraction on the perimeter, I will admit. It was very small, a very small infraction. I just want people to know that your perimeter, it can cut. There's all kinds of sides and holes. Somebody can bust through there with some really traumatic stuff. You got to figure that out, and you really got to be prepared for that. That takes the phone up, and then sometimes it's just a little roly-poly. It's just a little roly-poly.
And you know what I will say that kind of ties both of these in. What's up, Krista?
I am very Southern, Lynn. I am
very Southern, very Southern. But you know what actually I was thinking about that ties all this in. The fact that like because we are living in such a heightened state, even things like little pill bugs, right?
It's like
Mean the world.
Too,
like
this too, and now this.
Yeah. I was actually having a similar experience because, I have asthma, right? I have seasonal asthma, allergy asthma. So like I can't, it's, sometimes, with the protests and all that, I've really tried to, I've tried to do as much as I can from my room, but it's hard to go outside because I'm trying to, protect my lungs.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's like the littlest thing, right? Like I have, a New York apartment is dusty. So I have all these allergens in here. So I wake up and I'm wheezing and like, I got to take my asthma medicine. And like, again, thankfully I have medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully I can take care of myself like that. But even that little thing that's such a quick fix can be such a trigger, such a little small trauma.
Another stressor.
Such a stressor. But ladies and gentlemen, I mean, just so you know, like this is kind of what you get. Like I know that this is on Broadway World, but we're not really interested in Broadway right now. Like
Arms look good.
Stop it. We want to talk about surviving the world. That's what we want to talk about. And we want to talk about how you get through a day. Because these are the things that we need to know right now.
Yeah.
So please, in the comments, tell us how you secured your perimeter. Tell us how you have protected yourself. Tell us how you've gotten through your day. The second segment that we have today is a segment that we like to call Tag 'em. Tag 'em is where we shout out members of our community who are doing the good work, who are making things happen, who are being their best selves. And it will be a different one every time we do this. Who we thinking today, Sasha? Who we thinking today?
Yeah, we about to shout out my girl, Dion Figgins.
Oh, Tagger. Now what?
Okay on the eyes. She's okay on the eyes, guys. All right, I'm gonna tag her because everybody is a handle.
Accurate.
Everybody is a handle. Get a handle on it.
I don't like that. Now, what did Dion do as you're tagging her? Tell us why we're tagging her.
Earlier this week, you can look at, I'll throw this up to hashtag keep sharing the mic. My friend and very good friend for a few years now, Dion Figgins, I met her doing Memphis. She's original cast and she's in the Netflix special and she looks fees if you wanna peep that. But she organized at hashtag keep sharing the mic with share the mic at share the mic now. And we got a bunch of white actresses with, some high profile, like, what do you call them? Followers. They had lots of followers. And when a lot of Black actresses, and they let us take over their Instagram accounts, and we were able to just sort of take the space. And, at first I'm not really a huge social media, like not adept at this thing, or just like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me all the time. I easily turn my phone off in that sense. But it surprised me how powerful it was to be on in such a different space, like have somebody say, yo, here are the keys, kind of like Broadway World has done to say, here are the keys, do what you want, say what you want, throw up what you want, throw up whatever content you want. And we spent a day just sort of taking over these Instagram accounts and doing a lot of talks. And I got to bring on, I took over Morgan James, who we also did Motown with. And I did a talk with her on music and appropriation and appreciation and artistry. And then I talked to a student that I've worked with, an organization called Epic Theater Ensemble, and got to hear from her. She's a student in the Bronx, and now she's at SUNY studying theater. I'm just talking about her experience, which I thought was a really good perspective as far as artists are concerned, because we get very, very tunnel visioned with our sort of Broadway world, and we don't realize like theater is way bigger than Broadway. And that theater actually encompasses a lot more than what happens on a stage, the act of theater and what the theater community is. And so I got to talk to her about what that effect had been on her in a school that was underfunded and she felt underrepresented, and how she's how theater has enabled her to sort of use her voice and go through her history and really engage with it. So that's really dope.
Tim Alex is trying to start trouble. We even gonna honor that. People's gonna be here all day.
But we got to take over the space, and I will say, I thought, oh, okay, this will be like a whatever thing. And it was very powerful to, it was a lot more powerful than I thought it would be. It was a lot more powerful than I thought it would be. And I think that in ways that people are trying to figure out how to be an ally, like, which I hate that, because I'm just like, this is your world too. This is the world we all live in. Either you're fighting for what you want to see in the world, or you're not. So it's not really like you're an ally, like just be in the fight, be on the team, and do what you can from where you are. And, but that was one of the ways. It was just like, get out of the way, like give people keys, give people tools, give people, what you can, and keep doing that. So it was really dope. Yeah. So she got tagged. Tag
them. Tag them.
Yeah. It was really nice.
That's lovely. Yeah, and we're gonna, again, everyone's from the community. So many people are doing so many amazing things. So we will continue to tag them out and shout them out and get the word out there about all
and
the projects.
At us. Yeah. If you have somebody who's doing some dope stuff.
Please find us on, and our handles I think should be on the thingies up to find us. So, but with that said, I think it's time to bring on.
It's time. It's
the
been
main
past
event.
Time.
It's been past time.
It's been past time.
So, ladies and gents, we are just so honored to, there's so many artists working in the theater community today, but this artist in particular has for a long time been one of my favorites. She is a prolific writer, prolific and an actor as well, a MacArthur Fellow. She wrote the Detroit trilogy, which if you have not seen those plays, Detroit 67, Paradise Blue, The Skeleton Crew, these are some of the just best plays for Black artists that have been written in the past, I'd say 2 decades now. She is also somebody who I love that she keeps it so real. She is the author of the current show that I am employed with, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations. I'm going to add her now, Miss Dominique Morisseau.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you for that very correct French pronunciation of my name, Nick.
We do our research. We do our research here. And we were like, we got to get it right. For you, we got to get it right.
Well, thank you. I know people struggle, but it's okay. I understand. I'm here for you through the struggle.
Oh my God. Speaking of struggle, how are you doing? How are you holding up? How's things going?
Oh, I'm holding up. Holding up, days vary, like I think for all people.
Yeah.
And for me in particular, I've had a lot to reconcile with on my own through this pandemic and through this, what I call a plague and an insurrection, that we're surviving it every day. There's something new that happens, but I feel as an artist and an activist, I feel this is the time. Yeah. This is the time. So I feel very purposed in this moment, in that respect. But I also feel, emotionally exhausted. It as if it wasn't enough. Like I've already suffered a lot of my own personal losses. I was talking to a group of alumni from University of Michigan, which is my alma mater, yesterday, and I was saying, this has been so I've already been experiencing my own loss in the world through a pandemic. I take it real personally when people haven't taken the pandemic personally enough, because I have seen my family go through this in an awful way, all across the city of Detroit, and so for me, it's not something I can, it's not a debate. It's not something it's not a cause. It is a real thing that has personally impacted me. And so, I don't know what all of that means, but so I have had to deal with my own, relationship to grief, to loss, to trying to be resilient in really hard times. My husband and I, every now and again, we get distracted by all the things going on. And then we just have these days where we're just like, can't move, like feels like something so heavy is on us. And we go, yeah, because we've just like suffered a whole bunch of loss, like a whole lot of loss.
Yeah.
What we averaged is about since last year, since November, we've had a loss a month, sometimes more than a loss a month. So that's like those over 7 losses. I mean, that's a lot of losses right now.
Yeah.
And some of them were big losses. He lost his mom. I lost my dad. I lost my grandmother. You know, so we lost some very important people in our lives, and all of the losses honestly have been insurmountable. So, you know, so it actually, the action helps to distract me from the loss. You know, I think it helps a lot of people get distracted from, because we're experiencing personal loss, and then we're experiencing like national loss, global loss of a community, and certain members of our community. I think we're all feeling that together, but I don't know. In these times, to me, art and activism, I mean, this is what we're made for. So, or we gonna find out what we made for.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you this: what was, when this all started? When did you, like, was it an immediate thing for you? Like, okay, because here's the thing that nobody wants to talk about, right? That this is in so many ways our disease, right? This is a disease that is hitting us. It's hitting us, and it's hitting us because of a structure that's been in place for hundreds and hundreds of years. And we could do a whole essay on that. Absolutely. But was it immediate for you to know, as soon as this started, as soon as the injustices started piling on from COVID, and then with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and the litany of people, that you had to say something, you had to do something? Or was this like kind of a slow call to action of like, okay, I need to just get my bearings first and then I'll jump out? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. So 2 things. I mean, one, yes, I've had to just like stop for a while, for like, I don't know, the month of April and most of May, it was about restoring my soul. You know, really the month of March and April into half of May. That was all about soul restoration. Leave me alone. Everybody leave me alone. You know, I just have to get, you know, I'm trying to meditate, mindfulness, get in touch with my spirituality, get in touch with my spiritual leaders, my therapists, you know, like just that can help me get the mind, body, and spirit right, because these are times that are going to test that like no other. So that's what that was, and still is ongoing. But I think but the second part of that, number 2, is in many ways, I've been I have been ready for this, for a while. Do you know, I've been ready for a change to happen across industries for a very long time. I've been I've been out there on my own. You know, I've written about racism in theater by myself. You know, I've written about racism in general by myself. By myself. I don't mean to say that other people have not been writing that, because that's not true. But when I say by myself, I mean I've been saying it on my own, not amongst groups of people together at the same time. And now I'm not saying it by myself, and neither is anyone else saying it by themselves. We're saying it in an echo chamber. It's a lot of people out here, you know, telling their truth, speaking their testimonials out loud. And that's important. We have to do that. And as always happens when people share testimony, you know, about things that the injustices that they've been witnessing, whether it's on the street, whether, you know, until we've been talking about the police. I mean, we've been talking about police violence for a very long time. And it's like it takes 1,000 knees on necks for us to really be able to see what's happening, and for us to globally see and finally go, I cannot watch this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a combination of the length of time. I mean, I don't know what, you know, you had me at the first one.
Yeah.
So it was taking so long for everybody else. But people bearing witness is a thing. And it's almost like we don't, you know, it's like accusers of, you know, it's like the Me Too movement. It's like when you have one accuser, we just don't, for some reason, that's not enough. And sometimes even 30 is not enough. And sometimes even 60, we start doing like, I don't know how you have wells and ums for all these people. There's something that you're not, there's a denial button in you that you got to check, and I don't know who's been denying racism all this time, but there's been a lot of people. And especially since we're theater artists, it's been denied a lot in theater. Mm-hmm. And because we pride ourselves on the performance of inclusion, and we pride ourselves on the performance of of making space for everyone's stories, and somehow being like extra liberal, and it's like you cannot clean up the world. You cannot point the finger outward to the world and not point it inward to yourself. Enough is enough. I'm not gonna keep going out here and getting killed or harassed by cops on the street, and then come inside a theater house and be harassed by patrons. I'm not gonna keep going. I'm not gonna keep having violence everywhere I go. There's gotta be a space that's sacred. This space, this place where we're supposed to be the vanguard of change. We have to do some house cleaning.
What is that? Because we want to talk to you a little bit about We See You What, and what does that look like? Because I think I've been struggling, but also excited. The same thing, just like, all the things that I do, like it's time, like it's go time, like let's. And you've been doing this work for a long time, and like it's just, I think at some point you decide I'm going to dig in, and then like this happens, and it's like all systems go, like it's time, like this, let's move what we've been doing plus everything else we want to move forward. So you've been doing this work, but there's the element of like, we're artists. There's a performative element to what we do, that we are performative. It is our skill, for better or for worse at times.
Absolutely.
And at a time like this, like what are the action steps? Like where does that energy go to affect change, to an actual change within our theater? Because I think there's been a thing of we need more stories, more people on stage, more of this, we need to see ourselves, and we do. But then also like, I've been that actor in the room, and I know Nick has too, where you walk in and I think I'm excited about telling this Black story, and there are no Black people in the room when I go to audition. There are no Black people in the room when you go to sit to have your session. And you're just like, how the hell are we going to do that if I'm the only person in here with a Black experience to, speak from? And so we know that those are sort of industry things, but we don't have any Black producers, like our Black, how do we do that? And then also like, how does that engage with the world and the sort of the most marginalized of our Black community, who have probably never seen a Broadway show and like could care less whether or not we have representation. They're just trying to make sure that they can walk to the grocery store without getting harassed.
That's right. And well, I always say, let's start there for a minute. Let's start with audience. I think and action, and where all that action is needed all over our industry. And it's not new. It's not like, I wonder where to start. We've been talking about where to start for a long time. It's not, there's fake promises on committing to that. And I think we have to say now, no more fake promises. We have to be able to find metrics to hold you accountable for the things you've promised, and so I think when you start with audience, for instance, like you just said, the person who could care less about audience development, or they could care less about, what's happening in theater. They just want to be able to walk through the grocery store and not get, harassed, or, have somebody Karen them or Amy them or whatever it is, but so do we. Don't we too? When I leave New York theater, I went back home to Brooklyn, When I go back home to Brooklyn, to Bed-Stuy, it's cops all over my neighborhood harassing everybody. I would stand and watch them jump turnstile, watch like kids jump turnstiles. Every single day there were cops at my train station, Utica in Brooklyn. Every single day was some kid in handcuffs. Yeah. And every single day I would go to officers, I would police watch with other community members. And we would, and I would approach and talk to the officers like, excuse me, officer, why is this kid in handcuffs? Like, can you tell me? Well, he jumped a turnstile. Meanwhile, literally new white members of our community were coming up. The turnstiles would be broken. So many of us had to jump them damn turnstiles. And you're trapping us. You're entrapping these young Black kids when everybody has to jump these damn turnstiles when they stop working. Right. And so And so I would talk to these officers, and the ways in which various ones had different, mandates that they felt like they were following, different ways that they were having to approach policing. Several of them, especially the younger ones, felt, what am I supposed to do? I got to do this. Like, I'm being watched. That's what a lot of the police officers felt like. I got to do it. I'm being watched. If I let this kid go, I'm being watched. Right. That means that's systemic. That means that's policy, and it's problematic. But it also means I have to deal with that too. I'm a theater artist, and when I leave the theater, I still have to walk on these streets and get harassed myself. I've been harassed by the police. My husband has been hemmed up by NYPD several times, and it's unacceptable. And they're just now, I just heard that there's NYPD, that they're going to start trying to get rid of the plainclothes tactical, which is important because my husband was harassed violently by plainclothes tactical, that by the plainclothes tactical unit. Mm-hmm. So these are, I guess what I'm saying is it's silly to me to suggest that somehow theater artists, we're in some separate category. Mm-hmm. We're Black, and we walk around in our neighborhoods in this skin. And so do our audience members. When they come, if somebody comes from, somewhere random in Ohio, somewhere in Georgia, somewhere, from, Illinois or, Kentucky somewhere, and they come to New York, they spend their last dime to come see Hamilton, or come see Ain't Too Proud, or come see whatever they've heard about. And they get into the house and they get harassed inside of the theater institutions. That's problematic, and those are the kind of things I'm saying, that there's no separation between us, what's happening on the streets, and what's happening in our industry. We can't separate ourselves. We can't somehow right now go, we're special, we're artists, we're all liberal, and that's something else. It's not something else.
Right.
Part of this together, and so I guess I don't know if I'm answering your question, but there's how I feel about this is that there's too much overlap and relationship between all of us, that we have to start with the action has to start by first identifying all of the, it's like the witnessing, I say in the civil rights, where you have nothing but witnessing happening right now. You have, first of all, those who have been oppressed, who have been silenced, who have been afraid to share their voices need to be liberated and amplified right now, right? Because the biggest oppression you can have over someone is to silence their voice. And we are in the business of amplifying voices. That's what theater artists do. We can't silence our own theater makers. We can't do that, And so I do think that there has to be a way to the holistic change, the theaters and theater practitioners that want to see change happen in the world. We have to hold ourselves accountable to participating in it in our own industry.
Yeah.
Where my mind just went was talking about W.E.B. Du Bois' Talented Tenth, right? And the idea that we have an understanding, this is something that's plagued me all my life, right? And I think, and Sasha, we've talked about this a little bit too, the idea that depending on how you grew up as a Black person in this country, you have a very different concept of what it is to be Black. And the idea, and crabs in a barrel, the idea that we can climb out, we can make it, and all of a sudden we're the good Negro. Right. And that anybody else coming in. And that's one of the things, especially, you talk about Ain't Too Proud, how many, I mean, I was in the show 3 weeks before the shutdown. But in that 3 weeks, one of the constant things that we saw.
So short-lived. I said it was so short-lived.
Short-lived.
I think about that sometimes, like, damn it, he only had 3 weeks.
Listen, we coming back. We come at some point, we coming back, and I'll be there. But one of the things you experienced nightly was, just like you're talking about, that rift between the audience members who were the theater goers and the audience members who were coming to remember their city or remember these boys, the Temptations, and the fights that was the disagreements that would happen sometimes when the way that somebody's enjoying theater for some reason offends the theater goer. Now, here's the thing. Look, straight up, if somebody's pushing on you, if somebody's bumping into you, that's one thing. And then you say, hey, could you stop? I'm just trying to watch this show. But if somebody is enjoying a piece of theater and they're being like, we shame. It's the same thing with movie theater. I'm sorry to go off this rant. We shame other Black people for being loud in the movie theater because we think there's a proper way to watch a movie. There's no proper way to watch a movie. You watch the movie, and whatever comes out of you comes out. And so, as what I'm hearing you say, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it just sparked to me, just like, look, at the end of the day, before we even worry about, yes, we have to worry about the producers, we have to worry about, the systemic things within our industry that we have to change, but we also have to make our patrons feel safe.
Yes.
In order for, as we diversify the stories that are put up on our stages, the audiences need to be diversified as well. And the audiences need to know that when they come in our house, we're going to treat them like they're our guests in our house.
Yeah.
And we're going to take them as they are, and not as we think that they should be.
And we're going to demand all of our guests respect each other. Yes. Right? There's not only one kind of guest that's going to get respect here. Yeah. All guests are going to get respect here. Yeah. For me, audience, I don't know how we can talk about theater and what's going on with us and not talk about our audiences. Those are the people who we're writing about and for and to, and they have to be prioritized as well, and there's no way. What are we all talking about? If we're not making art for the people, what the hell are we doing? If we're just all talking about our own, internally talking about our own stuff, then we aren't connected to the street. We're connected to the street. Yeah. It's people that we're making the art for and in front of, and who we are, and with even.
Yeah, like I think that's the feeling of like, if it starts to turn in on itself way too much, too quickly, completely, like we are forgetting like the community of theater. And I think I like the community that theater creates. Mm-hmm. I like the space that it creates for stories to be told and invite people in and perspectives. I enjoy that part of theater. And I think we can also get stuck in the system of the industry, which is also a problem and has to be addressed. But it's like that's the why of it all. Like, this is about what theater does for our community and therefore the world because of the way people get to interact with it. Mm. But if we don't really root it out in that way and for that purpose, and really challenge our theater makers to really bear that responsibility, like that this is what theater should be in the world. Otherwise, what are we here for? What are we really doing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do this art to save ourselves. That's cool. I do my art to save myself. Like, if it has to start with me, I'm trying to heal me first. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And healing me, I hope that it has some generosity to it, that it extends to helping others heal themselves. But if I'm starting with me, but I'm not ending with me. And I do think that that's how, if we're holistically thinking about what theater can do, what we really, really all want to believe theater is, then we have to think about justice is integral to theater. And justice inside of our field and justice around all other fields, What a lot of theaters now, and I'm happy to see it in a lot of ways, are emailing about budget justice, in New York City, where they're getting behind the idea that you can take the funding away from the police and put that and reappropriate that funding in the social programming, right? Mm-hmm. And the arts. Because art is a huge part of social programming that people seem to not remember, but that's a big part. But it can't just go to the top arts institutions and stay at the top inside of those institutions. That art needs to trickle down to the people, right? We always talk about this trickle down. We talk about it in economics. It has rarely worked.
What's happening?
Down versus bottom up, right? Like, it just rarely, somewhere we got to meet.
Like invested at the root, at the bottom, let that thing grow. Like,
that's right. And I think you have to do both. I actually think you have to do both. I think you have to let it fall, let it rain, and let the people who are on the ground, let that soil build up. And we do a lot of we do a lot of this or that in our just society and in our own ideas of implementing change. We go only this or only that. You know, I think about movements of the past a lot. I've been thinking a lot about movements of the past because I've studied movements for a very long time, since I was a kid. You know, I've been involved in activism since I was a kid. My father was a revolutionary. He raised me this way, you know, and I feel super purposed in this moment of rethinking and being a part of what I call the second civil rights movement in our country's history, right? That we're in it, we're in that movement. And who I'm going to be in that movement is going to be my father's daughter, you know? I'm going to be the woman he raised me to be, you know, the one who thinks about justice and equity, and not just equality, but equity, you know? And so
what's the difference, just for our listener, what's the difference between equality and equity?
I wish I had this picture that one of my friends, Story Airs, sent me. It's been on Facebook, but we were just talking about justice versus equality. Equality is like everybody gets. There's this great picture online. You probably see
like this,
looking over the fence, right?
Yeah.
Equality is we all have the same. We all have the equal size box to stand on. You know, look over this fence. But equity is realizing we're different heights. So some of us need different size boxes to all have the same view over the fence. Right. That kind of thing. And so I think that's what equity is. It's looking at where the shortcomings in this community have been because of whatever social conditions have happened here, that it's not a one size blanket, one size fits all solution to a problem. And so I stand for equity, you know, and I think that because I think of movements of the past, I think of how in every movement there has always been this or that, right? There's always been, we think this has to be this way. You know, we believe in nonviolence, only nonviolence. We believe in, you know, by any means necessary. We believe in talented 10th. We believe in, you know, hard work and labor, you know. We believe in, you know, there's always a this or that. And there's never, I don't think we do enough yes ands.
Right.
And we're thinking, and theater artists to be the forefront people of yes and, that's in our whole trajectory as artists, right? Like you accept the offer and you build on it. You don't reject. What are we doing? Rejecting? What the hell kind of theater artist are you?
Right.
I'm gonna throw up your this picture you were talking about.
That's the picture. Yes. Thank you.
There you go.
That's
there you go.
Right?
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm for equity because everybody got to see over that damn fence. Everybody should be able to watch the game.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? And so, yeah, but it's just like, you know, it's I say the yes and because I can see your movement over here and I can see your approach to movement. I can see your approach to a movement. We all trying to get to the finish line. We have a similar finish line, you know? So I think a lot about, you know, I've been thinking a lot about Dr. King. I've been thinking a lot about Malcolm X lately. I've been thinking a lot about Assata Shakur, Angela Davis. I've been thinking about a lot of movement leaders, about the women, the backbones of movements. I've been thinking about Bayard Rustin. You know, there's this documentary called King in the Wilderness. And I like what somebody said, some of us are taller. We should be helping. Give your box to someone whose box ain't tall enough. Amen. So if you could see over the fence, why you got a box?
I know, why are you pushing me down?
I hope we're saying your name correctly. But yeah, you know, I see you and I respond to that because that's right. You know, some people stand on boxes don't even need a box.
Right. People out here stealing boxes.
We're not boxes. We all deserve a box. No, we don't. If you know you don't need a box, don't take a box. You know? And in fact, I feel that way about, honestly, actually do feel that way about, I do that in my art, right? You know, sometimes theater companies want me to do, you know, hey, Dominique, can you do this? Can you write these 10 things? And we'll pay you. And I go, well, if 10 people paying me, that means 9 other people out here could be getting paid that's not getting paid right now. I don't need all the money. I don't need everybody's job, you know? So I'm doing okay right now. If I'm doing okay on the back of my peers and my community, if I'm doing okay, then how can I spread this wealth around? I don't need to hoard. So that's one. I'm not a hoarder. You know, I've had hoarder family members, so I'm like really resistant to hoarding of all kinds. and there's no need to hoard wealth. There's no need to hoard opportunity because it goes around. you know? And so I do say, hey, I don't need the box. I don't need this box. I can already see over this fence. Give this box to somebody who can't see right now, you know? I think if we can think about that more, especially as theater artists, because this is what we do. This is who we're supposed to fundamentally be. We have vision that others don't. Artists make sense of the world when the world don't make sense. We are the ones that add the sense, you know? And I think we have to be unafraid to do that. And also tap into how we are not contributing to equity around us and find ways to do that. And I'm far from perfect. I have blind spots, you know, even that language blind spot is ableist language, you know. But I have, you know, I don't see things, you know, in insight. I don't have a lot of insight about things, and I try to catch the things that I don't have insight about or learn from them, and get better. You know, that's what we commit to. I don't commit to being perfect, but I do commit to working always, you know? So, you know, I can't commit to that and be a part of an industry that won't.
I want to ask you, this is because I mean, I'm learning so many lessons right now, and I'm just so thankful, first of all, that you're here with us. So thank you again. I wanted to ask you on that same topic of that equity and that giving back and that, you know, reaching back. One of the things that struck me when I walked in the Imperial Theater that I've, you know, in my 7-8 years, you know, on Broadway, I've never experienced to this extent, was the I promise you I'm not blowing smoke, Dominique. Like I promised you. The amazing way that you take up space for your show. The amazing way that you show up and you say, it's not about this is my show and we're gonna do what we're gonna do. It's I am me. I worked hard to get this here. I am like when we had our first talk in the dressing room, and you just schooled us on where this came from for you, what this process was. It was so wonderful to see you do that, both as a Black artist, as a Black woman who's an artist. I would just love to hear about. I hate asking like, what is your advice to others trying to take up space? But that's really the question. How do you take up that space? Because it really is, for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to talk to this wonderful person in person, it really is such a good thing to see. It's really just so wonderful to see.
Shit, I don't know. I don't know. Let me say this. I listened to The Moth. Shout out to The Moth podcast. It's like one of my favorite. I love listening to people tell their stories. And I'm a storyteller, you know. And I was listening to this one last night about this guy who was the speechwriter to President Obama, and it's freaking hilarious. Like, if please everybody go listen to this podcast. But he was so nervous, you know, he had to write these jokes for Obama for like all of these different ceremonies that Obama was taking part in. And one time the jokes they went well, but then it created like an international blunder that you know he thought he was going to get fired for. Anyway, the point of his story was that he was trying to figure out how not to take up space, you know, in President Obama's space, you know, and trying to but struggling with feeling confident about what he was contributing as a writer, you know, as a writer. And it turns out, I mean, Obama really liked him and liked him as a speechwriter. He worked for him for many years, from like I think 2011 to 2016. And so I've listened to him because I thought, I mean, this is interesting because it's about somebody who's deciding what he has a value to contribute and to how to own the value that he's contributing, you know? So I guess when I think of taking up space, if you will, and this was a person who, I mean, he sounded like he's probably a white guy, you know, working for the president, Barack Obama. And I thought, well, him taking up space is different than me taking up space, right? But even him with the privilege that he walks into a room with, doesn't have that privilege in front of the president, when the president is a Black man, especially. It's interesting to listen to him talk that way. And I thought the confidence that you have to have about what you're bringing of value, it takes a while to earn that confidence. And I don't always have confidence in what I'm talking about, but when I've thought about something for a long enough time, I've decided I've thought about this long enough. I can stand on this, even if I change my mind tomorrow, because I'm allowed to evolve. But today, I feel very passionately about this thing that I believe in, and I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to stand on it, and I'm going to also be strong enough to withstand if I need to change or evolve on that thinking. Because I think we as especially as Black artists, we are often second guessing who we are in these spaces that are predominantly white. We're and so we do things to make ourselves smaller or to make ourselves agreeable, to make ourselves and I've done it. I have done it. So and I don't like what I feel like when I do it. And I rethink like, okay, I might not be able to go back and fix that one, that time in that room. I wish I'd have said something different. We all have hindsight, and I try to take my hindsight and do it next time because I'm gonna be in more rooms, and every room I come to, I'm gonna take up more space than I did before. Because every time I see, because I think about how important my space is. When I look at the Ain't Too Proud team, my two producers are two older white men, our director's an older white man, and then it's me. We were always the four of us for a long time, the early on decision-making team until Sergio, our choreographer, got brought on and Kenny Seymour, our music director, right? But the four core who were making a lot of decisions were the four of us. I call it me and the white guys, me and my old white guys, and some of that collaboration was great. And sometimes it was not great for me, and I would always look and go, I have to take up space right now. I have to, I owe this. I'm the only person really that has the authority to take up space right now on this subject, on this city, on these people. I'm the authority in this room. And I have to feel comfortable being the authority on this, because if not me, who of the four of us? Who better?
Yeah.
And I think that they are the authority on their expertise, right? On producing, on directing musicals, right? I am the authority. We all bring authority in this room. It's not me with a bunch of other people that have authority. It's four authorities, and I'm a strong authority in that four. And I have to be, and I have to, that doesn't come easily. It does not come without pushing back and asserting my voice, but I have to do it because I look around the room and who this cast is. I look and I say, if not me, who among the team can represent this cast? This group of people that have to go out on stage. So, I think about what I know, and I remember when I was in writing and television my first year, I was the only Black person and the only person of color in the Shameless TV writing room. And one of my colleagues, and it was tough. It was tough in there. And they said that whole room of people, were amazingly supportive of me and often saying things that I had to really navigate and was really hard for me.
Yeah.
A lot of unconscious things, And so it was like a catch-22. They were being awesome and awful, and didn't realize the awful. Probably would have more, I think, perspective about it right now. But, we were growing. I give them grace because they gave me grace, as a new writer. And but one of the things one of my colleagues said to me, because they all knew I was the only one in that room who was a new writer to television. They had all been working on television for like 7, 8, 10, 17 years, and then there was me. And I'm the only person of color, so I have to take up authority for the people of color. you know, but how do I take up authority? And I'm brand new, you know, that was tricky. I remember one of my colleagues said to me, you know, when I was about to write my first script, and I was like, you know, I'm just nervous. I don't know if I understand this format versus the format I'm in, you know. And he said, Dominique, you're a playwright. I said, yeah, I'm not a TV writer yet. You know, he's like, you know how to write. You know how to tell stories. You just have to trust that you know how to tell stories, you know? And I was like, I do know how to tell stories. You know, like it resonated with me. Like, he's right. I do know how to tell stories. I know how to tell stories. So I just have to transfer my knowledge to this format, but I know what I know. And I guess it's important for us to stand on the things that we know, especially those of us who come from marginalized spaces, to stand on what we know. And we can stand on what we know and still evolve. Like, there's no, again, yes, and, you know, I know this and I'm open to knowing more. Like, no matter what, I'll never know enough. I'll never know it all. You know, I read a lot of books, and then I also don't read a lot of books. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell you I read a lot of books, and you'll go, but have you read this book? And I'll be like, no, you know, because I haven't read every book, you know. But I know what I know, and I'm still growing. And I think we just have to give ourselves some grace.
Yeah.
So we can take up some space. Give ourselves some grace so we can take up some space.
There she goes. There it is. There it is. There it is.
I love that. I love that. Yes, and like that collaboration. We're creators. That's what we do, and just being able to take that in. And there have been, seriously, we don't want to take up too much of your time, but there have been, you've just dropped so many gems on us, and we are so thankful to you. You know, if people want to, you know, find you, are you on the social medias?
I'm on the socials.
Yeah.
I do limited access on the mugs, but I go in, I do like a 5, you know, I go in for like a day for 5, 10, 20 minutes. And I'm not, you know, and I try not to, maybe I will not get to all my DMs. I will not get to, I have to, you know, I care more about my sanity than I do anything.
Absolutely. Where can people, what's your handle if you want to share?
I'm at Dominique Morisseau on Twitter, on Instagram, and I'm Dominique Morisseau on Facebook. And those are the places that you can follow what's going on with me.
D.O. Morisseau, correct?
Yeah, D.O. Morisseau. Morisseau. Oh, almost. Thank you, Broadway.
Almost.
It's D.O. MOR, 1 R, 2 S's.
1 R, 2 S's.
EAU.
All right. Let's see if this works.
Right. Check it out. How we doing?
Well, let's see. Yeah, we'll give it a second. Give it a second to show up, and then is it gonna work?
We did it, people.
That's teamwork. Well, seriously, it's just so good to see your face, hear your voice, and I really look. I know we don't have any facts right now. We don't have anything but our faith. But I truly do believe that we will be in that building again, celebrating the story that you worked so hard to build. Yeah,
we'll be in the building. We'll be in all the buildings again. I mean, some people are in these buildings prematurely, but you know. We know we'll get there, you know.
That's right.
We will. I have no doubt. I mean, that does not scare me. I've heard people say, we're going to have to rethink what theater is going to be in the future. I'm like, yes. Yeah. But not because we won't be gathering in spaces. Right. That's not going to stop. People can't.
It's human. It's what we do.
Yeah, but human beings cannot. We are not made to not connect, you know. Right. It's not really, we're not going to survive without that. So I don't believe that, but I do think that this is the time to say when we come back, we cannot go back.
We're not going back.
We had before. We have to, and we have to. And if I don't say anything else, I do want to say. So I want to. First of all, I want to thank all of the community members out there. It's been members of the Black Broadway community who have been sharing their testimonies about things that have happened to them, where they have felt of a culture of anti-Blackness in whatever institution or whatever they've, come up through. That takes a lot of courage and bravery, and everybody is not going to be on your side, and that's okay. Because they weren't on Dr. King's side either, and they weren't on Malcolm X's side. It's amazing to me that Malcolm X has a stamp after him.
Right.
Resistance there was to his vision. It's amazing to me. And so I want to say that. And I also want to say, King in the Wilderness is a really good documentary everybody should check out, because it breaks my heart, but it's about when Dr. King, when he started critiquing the war and when he started focusing on poverty, we turned our backs on that man.
Yep.
Yes.
And it broke him.
The last year of his life.
It broke him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It broke him before he left this earth, before he was taken from this earth. And I think that we don't know those things. So it's real easy to get swept up in all this, like this action that's happening around us in the world. It's real easy to, want this to be about, we want ourselves to be heard more than we want the initiatives to happen. And let's want that initiative to happen. Let's want the change to happen more than we want to be the one or two or five, or I don't know, the kings and the mountains.
Yes.
Let's also be the Bayards. Let's be the Fannie Lou Hamers. Like, let's be the Ella Bakers. Let's be everybody that helped to move the movement forward, whatever role we can find ourselves in, because it needs us. It needs all of us. Even if it doesn't need us to agree. It does not need us to agree. It does not need us to agree, but it does need us to participate in some way. So I want everybody to find your way. If it's not the way of this group over here or that group over there, find the way to participate in the collective movement that is happening right now. That's all I'm saying.
That's real. And here's something I want to say to you. We got to find, whether it's, at the end of the summer or whatever, please come back. Please come back and let's find a way to talk. Let's check in again.
I love it. Man. We'll do updates. I hope I have some fun ones.
I know.
Oh yeah.
See where you're at. See how you're doing.
Absolutely. All right. I'm gonna let you go, but thank you so much, Dominique.
All right. Thank you guys.
Right. See you soon. Bye. Yo, so I got a blessing.
I love that. Holy moly.
I feel good about so many things. You all see what a gift she is. So yeah, that was wonderful. Y'all, so look, this was our first time out doing this. I think it went pretty well. I feel like I went, maybe I should have worn, should I have worn this?
Yes, you should have. I told you to, and you didn't, and I'm upset about it because I want to.
No, I'm not going to wear that. I'm not.
How can we be Chaos Twins? You won't even.
Because the Chaos Twins. Because I'm wearing. You know why? Because I'm wearing yellow and black. And you're wearing black and yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black. I don't even know that song, so I don't know what it is. But here's the deal: we're going to do this right now. We're thinking every other Wednesday. So the next one is not going to be next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that, July 1st. You definitely want to tune in for that one, because we may or may not have a really, really cool guest. Really, really cool guest. Really, really cool guest. It will not be Timothy J. Alex, who has been commenting nonsense since the beginning of this thing. If you want to find us on our social media, please hit us up, because this is an ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
Sasha, where can they find you? It says it right there, but spell it out for the people.
Hutchings is a super fancy handle that is just my first and last name.
That's right. That's right. What's up, Saint? Yep, and mine is at Nikki Walks. And again, this is the type of conversation we're going to be having. So in 2 Wednesdays on July 1st, come back here. Exactly, right before Hamilton airs on July 3rd. In fact, I will give you a hint about who that guest is. That guest is James Monroe Iglehart, Tony winner. Yo, he's going to kill me when he sees it. He's literally going to hurt me.
He's fine. He's working. He has so many jobs. He's fine.
He's fine. He's got too many jobs. No more jobs. No more jobs for James. But we will be back July 1st. Molly Schreiber, I love you. July 1st. So come back here and we will do this all again. And thank you for the cookies. I see. Yes, Celeste, you did send me cookies in Salt Lake. Thank you for that.
You got cookies?
I got cookies. Okay. But guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. I am Nick. Who are you?
I'm Sasha. I was reading comments. Okay, let's do it again. Hold on. Take 2.
I am Nick.
I'm Sasha.
And this has been the Chaos Twins. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Stay safe out there. We'll see you on July 1st.
Bye, guys.
Deuces.